our show Anil Tambay. Anil is a country director for Evidence Action here in India, and Anil has been working for NGO sector for a very, very long time, and he's worked in different companies or different NGOs, more or less, like Oxfam, Mary Stopes, and now he's working for Evidence Action. Anil, what is Evidence Action? Why that name?
Yeah, but I just want to add one thing to your list.
Yes.
I was with Bayer or Pune earlier.
Yes.
That works all over India. But anyway,
Yeah.
So, firstly, I just want to say I'm so happy to be here with
Thank you for coming.
Ordinarily, in our sector,
Yeah.
most of us like to talk about the work,
Yeah.
not about ourselves.
Yeah.
But with you, okay, I'm happy to talk about myself.
So I'm glad you really came
We're
across.
also about evidence action.
Yes.
So, Evidence Action, in my experience, is a very unique organization.
Okay.
It is perhaps the most effective organization I've ever worked with.
Okay.
And the secret sauce is why the name is so focused on evidence.
Okay.
So we have what is called an Accelerator program, which actually looks at all the successful work done by many other people, institutions, organizations around the world, which have demonstrated success in actually solving some of the most critical problems that exist, chiefly in health for the moment.
Okay.
But it's when we find such a program, then we actually analyze it for its success.
Yeah.
And we also see whether it's actually being widely implemented.
Yes.
So such proven successful but kind of ignored programs which have this potential to be implemented on very large scales, so maximum impact but very cost effectively as well.
Okay.
And in India, through the government.
Yes.
So programs that meet that
Yeah.
are the ones we select. So we don't come up with some earth-shakingly new things. What we do is we take successful programs, proven to work,
Okay.
upscale them. So we work
Okay.
hard with the government on the process and other issues concerning with making the government program a success. We're working from within the program. So to answer your question,
Yes.
all our work is based on evidence.
Evidence.
Evidence that this approach has actually worked.
Okay.
Evidence that this intervention has actually worked. And therefore action following that evidence.
Okay. That's why it's called Evidence Action. Yeah, because it's a very uncommon name because you hear everything, but then I was thinking, okay, why? But also now I know that you don't want to talk about you, but I really want to know something.
On your
You're
channel.
on your IITian, right? And you also worked, like you said before, in Pune, and you also worked, I know that before that, with Tata Consultancy and
Tata Administration.
Okay, sorry about that. So why non-profit? Why did you change your path to non-profits?
Yeah, now after more than 30 years in this sector, when I'm asked this question, I say, well, I just wanted to have fun.
Okay, that's nice.
But to get deeper into it, I would say that, so I grew up in a military family. My dad was an Air Force pilot, so, it was all about that. Life is about service to a righteous cause. So then, going through college, I was always thinking, so what am I going to find? I, at that time, just thought, let me do what I like. So engineering.
Yes.
And then I actually worked in engineering for 3 years and an MBA in finance. And through all that time, that was at the back of my mind. And I was very fortunate during my MBA, which was in Jamnalal Bajaj Institute in Mumbai, that I got a chance to see the work being done by some people just north of Mumbai in Thane district.
Okay.
It is Adivasi country. And you can really see how different those people are. Scarcely 150 kilometers north of Mumbai, the financial capital of India.
Absolutely.
And they live in very different circumstances.
Okay.
So that is, I think, what first lit the bulb in my head that there's something of interest for me.
Okay.
So then after that, I worked with DAS, Tata Administrative Service, for a couple of years, and then I thought that I would be happier perhaps exploring this field. I took a year off.
Okay.
Worked on different projects. The highlight of that was with the Krishna Mission in Abujmar district of Den Bastar, Abujmar area of Den Bastar district, which is now in Chhattisgarh state.
Chhattisgarh.
Yeah. So that's when I found that's something I really like to do.
Okay.
It gives me more sense of purpose. But as I say now, I wanted to have fun. And
Fun, yes. Yeah, you did indeed had a lot of fun because you've been living in different countries and you've been working with different companies or NGOs. Yes, but also I think, talking about fun, I think also your job comes with a lot of stress.
in some NGOs, you also have the stress because we kind of try to achieve a balance between service delivery, which earns money,
Yes.
which we plow into the development work. So while the entire organization remains not-for-profit,
Yes.
we're actually generating income. So there's that kind of pressure as well.
Yeah.
Your income isn't coming up to scratch, which is so similar
Of
to...
course, but you need money to again help, right? Because you're taking it out to help again. Yes.
So in a way, the stress is the same. We work a lot with governments, so that's a very different kind of stress.
Yes.
Because governments all over the world are they're all aiming for the right thing.
Of course.
But the way they choose to do it, the speed they choose to do it with, and whether they recognize you as a partner and to win their trust. So that's a stress of a different kind again. Then people. Nothing happens with those people, and managing people is the most fun and the most stress.
Agreed. Agreed, yes. Yeah, because in your sector, I think because you all work in very remote areas, right?
Yeah.
And right now with Evidence Action, what are the projects right now in India? What are they doing?
Yeah. So Evidence Action has what I would consider as the most sustainable model of effecting development.
Okay.
I would even say the only sustainable model.
Okay.
Well, sustainability comes from the activity being self-sustaining.
Very important.
And what better in our context than to have the government deliver that program? In India, we're working with 11 state governments.
Okay.
And around the world in a total of 11 countries. So relatively a smaller NGO by global standards.
Yeah.
But our impact is massive. So coming to India, we are working with 11 state governments on 3 specific health programs.
Okay.
2 of which actually come under the health ministry. One is the deworming program for school children.
Okay.
And the second one is anemia prevention, which is still a work in progress. And the last one we recently started for scarcely a year now is inline chlorination of rural water supplies in collaboration with the Jal Jeevan Mission and the respective state governments. So that is currently in pilot stage, just going into expansion in 2 states of these same 11.
Okay.
So that's our model. We work on these 3 programs as technical assistance providers within the government.
Okay.
We don't deliver a single service ourselves.
Okay.
But we ensure the government's programs become more and more effective. And I'm happy to say that in India, we are working with these 11 states in the deworming sphere for approximately 8.5 years with the government. Since the government announced a national program to address deworming. And we've been fantastically successful. I may even venture to say that the governments we are working with, these 11, are becoming world beaters.
Whoa.
Nobody has experienced the kind of success we are in those states in the deworming program.
Wow.
Just to give you an example, on average, the worm infection rate, what we call the prevalence rate, in our target segment, which is school children in India, was around 50%. It varied from 40 to 65% in places. Well, let's say on average around 50% of our target group children had a severe infection of worm. And while many of us may consider worm as a minor thing, it's not. It's a huge,
it is.
negative. It has a hugely negative impact on children.
Yes.
And it affects their energy levels, their ability to, their cognition levels, so they cannot play, they cannot learn, they're just...
Is anemia also related to that?
Yes, so anemia has a host of causes. One of which is also worms. So deworming helps that. Also, around 40% of the anemia problem in India is caused by iron deficiency anemia. So that's the other program we're working on.
Yeah.
So coming back to the success,
Yeah.
in deworming, 5 of these states, the latest prevalence survey we had done through ICMR.
Yes.
Some of the ICMR institutions like the National Institute of Epidemiology and others, so they showed that prevalence rate from 50% has dropped to, hold your breath, less than 1%.
Oh, that's yes, that's an amazing success.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Which surprised even us. We were expecting to, have a sustainable exit. That's our plan. We help the government achieve success and we withdraw.
Okay.
We don't want to be there forever. Because that's the sustainable way to do it. We were surprised we had to exit so fast.
Okay.
So we're in no man, no woman's land as such. Nobody's been here before.
Yeah.
Having seen so much success so fast on such a massive scale. Remember I mentioned how many, our impact? We reach over 250 million children a year.
Oh my God, that's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot. But again, which is also very important when you said, the defects the children can go through and, it's related diseases and everything.
Everything, malnutrition caused by worms in the gut.
Yeah.
And I must also say, when I say we, it's the government.
I understand, yes.
They have been successful. We have been supporting partners, and we'd like to take that part of the credit.
Yes.
We supported the government.
Yeah, but you and your team went very hard for it, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
But also, so when talking about India, I think not only in India, because you worked before in Africa, and you worked in Bangladesh and Cambodia.
That's right.
So, in these countries, there's a lot of cultural influences. Like some people don't want, are not prepared, mentally not prepared, and because we've seen that during COVID, even in India, a lot of people didn't want to take a vaccination.
Right.
Yeah. So how does one go over it and educate these people that?
Very true. Yeah. So when we talk of the developing world, it's often
But it makes the job cost, isn't it? Yeah.
So that applies even to communities in India. Yes.
Absolutely.
People have misperceptions.
Yes.
They have mistrust.
Yes.
Their trust has been abused earlier by people from the cities who come there and tell you what's good for you, and then you find you've been taken for a ride.
Okay.
So that's a basic lack of trust and for misperception, and somebody whispers something in their ear that is bad for you. Yeah. And these guys have a hidden agenda. Yeah. And there you go. So you have to win their trust. Yeah. You have to explain things, show them the benefit, and get some early adopters. Yeah. And then they become your champion. So that's one of the techniques. But yes, that's one of the reasons. Other is, of course, some religious texts also say things can be interpreted to mean one thing or the other. So sometimes are not helpful. Yeah. So that's another strategy. Yeah. Local religious leaders on your side.
Okay.
For example, when we went family planning, that was one of our strategies. Talk to the local religious leader. Okay. Talk to his wife. Okay. Make sure his wife uses your services, and then you're on a winning wicket.
Okay. All right. Okay.
It also helps with the government policies. Push for the same outcomes.
Yes.
She helped a lot.
It helps a lot, but that's a lot of effort again, because initially you need to win these people so that actually you can work after that, so that they can make your life easier also, right?
And to add to that mix, we have to win the trust of the government and local
government and the communities.
And the community and then all of that. So
it's a lot of
I would never deny government is due credit for what they achieve. And if they appreciate our help, we very much like that too. But certainly I think they've been very effective in making governments very, very effective.
Yeah, very nice. Because I think the communities, again, as you also mentioned, the religious leaders have to get involved and everything. Because I know, at least in these part of countries, I know that religion does play a major role, and it's very important that. So that's what I asked, because I wanted to know. Yeah.
Family planning, for example.
Most important.
Interpreted to mean contraception is bad. Yeah. So we have to face all of that. Yeah. It's difficult in some communities, more difficult in others. Yeah. But finding individual champions, finding local religious leaders who see the value in it for their
Yes.
own families and children,
Yeah.
or finding parts of their religious texts which actually support, or at least seem to support
Yes.
efforts. For example, a particular religious community had a perception we're not allowed to, in the context of family planning,
Yes.
contraception, we have the long-acting methods, which is implants and
Yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah,
they had a perception we are not permitted to have any foreign object inside the
Yeah,
body.
body. Okay.
But you also have, we looked at their texts, our experts did, and then presented it. You also have areas where texts would say, do not have more children than you can afford.
Off it. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
how are you going to make all this
Yeah.
come
But it's
together?
important to give them a good life.
Yeah.
It's not enough to have kids.
Exactly.
Yes.
And so then some people take the more pragmatic line and they become champions for the work,
Yeah.
early adopters, and then champions and motivate others. And that's how thing.
So beyond all this, I would say the credit goes to education. The credit goes to educating as much as possible and as often as possible, probably.
Yeah. True. We have major efforts on awareness.
Awareness, yes, exactly. Yeah.
In fact, apart from the exciting successes I've talked about,
Yeah.
one of the most heart-moving programs I've had the good fortune to work with is on women's empowerment in India and Bangladesh.
Yes.
And it was just so incredible to see how communities, once they understood the concept and they understood that as men, so brought up in very conservative societies, how much happiness there was to be had in your own family life
Yes.
if you gave your daughter, your wife, that level of opportunity you yourself have had,
Yeah.
that level of freedom to express themselves and recognize that it's all coming from love.
Yeah.
To see the transformation in
Yeah.
people, you'd say, oh, this guy is never going to change. No, you see them change. It used to bring tears to my eyes.
Yeah, I can understand.
Although we were working on it and making it happen,
Yeah.
hey, it was still very, very moving. So,
Yeah.
women's empowerment in rural communities, rural conservative communities is one of the most heart-tugging moments.
Yeah, I can understand. It must be really, as you said, heartwarming. I think you don't need any awards. All you need is that, right? Knowing that you've done a good job and you're in the sense like...
Being a little catalyst to start society.
Exactly. Because it's ongoing, right? It's never accomplished. It's ongoing process continuously. Yeah.
When you get those champions,
Yeah.
then it becomes a community-owned process.
Yes.
Otherwise, it's just you coming and trying something and leaving at some point. Yeah.
But so, I know now you said you're working in India with 11 states, but India has more than that.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. But is that because you are taking it slow, or is it difficult to penetrate into certain...
So our choice of states is driven by a number of factors.
Okay.
First is, of course, analyzing where the need is the greatest.
Okay.
Secondly, we look at which state is very eager to have us support them.
Yeah.
Because it's important we have a welcome
Yes.
and we can show early successes. So the low-hanging fruit is also important. So the hard to win states or problems where problems are really pronounced, those states which are eager to welcome us.
Yeah.
And then we need people to support the work in the wells. We need it. The quantity of donations we have also determines the scale of the work we can undertake.
Of course. So, but now I know you work very hard and you had such a long journey in this. But other than that, because you lived in now we're talking about you personally.
Okay.
You worked in so many companies and NGOs, and you also lived in so many countries. A lot of countries actually, and you travel a lot for your work. And now you're back in India after a very long time. Is this the plan? You wanted to come back early, or you want? Is that
we were due to come back anyway, but on a personal level. The other thing COVID for many of us, especially for my family, taught us was while it's great being traveling overseas and all that, having family closer for you, around you is so very important. We are very happy back in India.
Oh,
This is where we're going to stay.
oh, that's nice. So you're now no plans moving again with another.
No, not overseas, never.
No. So you're going to be here
Yeah.
now. So okay, then. That's a good news.
We're certainly happy with it.
Yeah, I can understand. But maybe this is a wrong question. But again, as you lived in so many countries, is there any favorite country where you stayed? Apart from India, I understand is home. But other than that, what would be your favorite country where you all lived and you and your kids had good time? And let's put it that way. As a family, where did you all love the most?
Yeah, if I poll my family, they would select Cambodia as a place where they had the most fun for two reasons. One is it's a very happy country in spite of all the trauma they've been through, very easygoing, and there's very lots of things to do and enjoy.
Yes, exactly.
So from the family point of view, that would be it. From my point of view, I would not rate any favorites. I had so much fun in
everywhere, wherever you were.
So I really enjoyed each one of those countries.
Yes,
it was marvelous. Just for example, let's say Bangladesh.
Yes,
you were in Bangladesh, and that's right. First, So in some ways, Bangladesh is a pretty tough place to live because everything is in your face. A bit like India, but maybe 5 times more magnified. Especially west of India, north of India. It's 5 times more magnified. But at the same time, there's a lot of happiness there.
Yes,
under that.
Agreed.
And so much to learn. And take the goodness and the appreciation.
Yeah, there's goodness everywhere.
And so that's really what this journey has helped my family and I discover.
Yeah, I think it's open-mindedness and eager to learn and indulge.
Yeah, absolutely. But just for example, we just arrived in Bangladesh.
Okay.
And within 4 days, I found myself on a speedboat.
Okay.
Zipping down the river Brahmaputra.
Yes.
If you've been on the Brahmaputra, it's like a sea. You can't see the bank on either side. And you're zipping down, there's the spray in your face. And then you come to this, sandbar, which is an inhabited island. In normal circumstances, nobody would inhabit it, but it's a need, and so it is inhabited. And then you wonder, this is the kind of experience tourists pay huge money to have for a few days. And here we call it work. We're so fortunate. We go to places where it is just amazing. Yes, and there are people in need.
And also you were lucky enough to live in Tanzania. That must be also a good pride. It's beautiful. And then,
of all the countries we lived in, Tanzania perhaps had the most things to do. So the flip side, Tanzania had so many things to do. There was the sea, the beaches, you could go diving.
The wildlife.
And then the wildlife inland, and there were so many other activities. So everybody was busy. We had great friends, but the sense of community in Bangladesh was way more.
Oh, okay.
Because as you know, that level of activity is not limited in Bangladesh.
Okay.
So they have good reason. So the sense of community in Bangladesh was way higher, so we had so much fun in the expat community.
Agreed.
And we had a lot of fun.
It was a very close-knitted community, I remember,
That's right.
in Bangladesh.
Tanzania too was a lot of fun, but very different.
Very different, okay.
Everybody was doing their own thing.
Okay, because there was so much to do. So they were, every weekend they were out, probably.
And you didn't have to leave Tanzania on holiday. It was like, oh, that's what it be in Tanzania.
Just like probably also Cambodia for the first year, I think you have someone
never left.
Yes,
Agreed.
But Anil, thank you so much for coming on my show. This was a pleasure. Now I know also a lot about what you do at work.